chain. Really? Okay. Okay. So actually, I wanted to try to describe blockchain from 5 different layers, especially about, we all know that blockchain is a distributed ledger that is going to create trust, whereby we don't have to involve third party. And from my point of view, that blockchain, especially public blockchain, is a tokenization incentive mechanism that is going to incentivize the participation of everyone. And also in the future, the blockchain as infrastructure, distributed infrastructure, that is going to play a very vital role and essential role in terms of financial applications. And blockchain is a technology that is very important and very relevant to the Halal economy. And I'm trying to explore how to push and boost adoption of blockchain technologies in Halal economy from different perspectives. And whereby here I would like to say that blockchain, especially public blockchain, based on POW consensus, is very neutral, and the underlying philosophy of blockchain, which advocate for trust, transparency, is absolutely in line with some of the values which is from Al-Quran. So we don't see enough conflicts between the Islamic economics and the blockchain philosophy. And here is that, first actually I want to talk about 2 things today. Firstly about Gitmir blockchain, and secondly is about Halal chain. Here is like, actually Halal chain is a solution we developed started 2017. Our intention is to develop a consortium chain solution whereby to enhance transparency, visibility, and the traceability, especially for the, especially in area that lacks trust. I want to give a chance for China in particular, because China, whereby Muslim minorities, we all have this problem that a lot of like restaurants, they will mention the halali, but actually they're not, or they are not fully halali. So how to be self-evident, how to build up trust between the consumers and the suppliers. So there's a gap in between. So we would like to find out a solution for this one. And secondly, here is about from a traceability system is also a token system and also our utility token system. So here is like we would like to say about the Gitmir network. As we know that most of the applications in the Islamic economy space is based on their use cases, right? Gitmir is actually a blockchain, first blockchain that is dedicated to serve ethical finance and Islamic economy, which is try to enhance the connections of the every verticals of Islamic perspective, and basically it adopts structure of POW consensus. POW consensus, where is proof of work, and there are many consensus in public blockchain POW, and also proof of stake, proof of authority, and which we trust that POW is very inclusive and accessible to every node, which gives a chance for participation for everyone. But the current blockchain system, especially like Bitcoin network, Ethereum, have a problem in terms of massive adoption, which there is no scalability. Like Bitcoin, we can only provide a transaction like 7 times per second, which means like the whole Bitcoin network globally can only support 20,000 people for use. And Ethereum is between 50 and 100. Likewise, right now, I used to send like a small transaction, which is very small Ethereum. It takes like 2 weeks for me to arrive. So let us assume when we utilize a blockchain payment system in a halal restaurant, and it takes like, especially very small transactions, it takes a long period for processing, which is not usable and viable in terms of the real adoptions. So we adopt a DAG structure, blockchain and block DAG. Blockchain is like I'm a restaurant and we have to attain only one customer one by one. We confirm one blocks and when we include another one. And block DAG is that we can currently process all the transactions, so which comes with scalability for the real use case adoptions. And today, in terms of this is today for Islamic economy, we can say there is many like challenges. In the halal economy, we can see there's no inaccurate and unauthentic data of halal product, and also in Islamic capital market, there's no too much innovation. Most of the banks focus on murabah, and most importantly, actually, Islamic economy fundamentally and also in practice are not connected. Either in halal economy and Islamic finance, they are not connected. So how to create convergence in terms of Islamic financial system and also halal economy, and how likewise, right? You can say the ecosystem of Islamic economy is not complete as a circle. Most of the Islamic banks support murabah, or like investment in the real estate in the Western countries, right? Focused on the fixed income, and while the halal food manufacturers and the other industry players are using conventional banking. So how to create a convergence in the two sections to come out with innovations? This is like in terms of halal market review, which describe all the potentials which other panelists has already described. Here is like one of the solutions we describe on the hyperledger. Actually, we developed this solution like 2 years ago. We received like 500 manufacturers application from China in terms of how to adopt this like blockchain traceability solutions from the manufacturers to the storage to the consumers. And then we utilize smart contract for the enforcement. So I have to say that there are two problems, two problems. Firstly, in terms of the whole supply chain traceability and visibility, everything, blockchain can only play one layer in terms of the whole system, because we still need Internet of Things to collect data in a smart way, like in terms of in a manufacturer, how do they slaughter like animals in a proper manner. But this data needed to be collected and uploaded to blockchain. All right. So how to collect this data? We still need Internet of facilities. This is first one. So we need the integration of the other technologies. This is first one. Secondly, that the node cannot be very long. Let me say a chicken manufacturer in Brazil and the importer in Saudi Arabia. This chain is very long. How do we come up with this coordination from multi-nodes, from different customs, from different regulators? So you want to provide the whole supply chain traceability and provide the whole transparency. It comes a lot of regulation challenges for multi-regulators to coordinate with each other. If you're from private sectors, it's almost impossible for you to coordinate all regulators from in such a long supply chain. This is the second question. Apart from that, is that we have to make sure that is blockchain efficient technology, and what is the real benefit? If I adopt a blockchain technology as a manufacturer, does that boost my consumption? Does that lift my business? We cannot just push adoption for the sake of adoption. So here I can describe that into, we can do two steps, all right? First steps, maybe you can do proof of authority. Like as a halal standard organization, my certificate, we should tokenize this certificate first. Because like was in China and in other market, let me say there's a manufacturer, he does not have a certificate of halal food manufacture, but he will put a label on top of it. And this is really bring the confusions to the consumers. And for this certificate, what we can do is we can put the certificate of authority, a halal standard organization authority on blockchain. And this can easily be verified and can be checked, can be traced, provide the first step trust. And instead of to upload everything from multi-node to blockchain, it's not very practical at this very moment. This is the first one. Secondly, that the current blockchain system is not scalable and it's not a big infrastructure that accommodates everything. Likewise, right now, the only data that is popular on blockchain is transaction data, not the data of the industry itself. Because blockchain, especially public blockchain as a distributed technology, technical infrastructure, is not scalable and efficient to hold all the data. That is too big for a blockchain system to accommodate everything. So hereby, my suggestion is, because I developed this demo that is in place already, we want to push it to the industry adoption. We can divide it into Phase 1 and Phase 2. Phase 1 is proof of authority. Phase 2 is proof of work in a consortium chain. Here is we describe all this like a lot of advantages about the traceability based on hyperledger system, which is we can put it on our own GitHub blockchain. Actually, we get like 1 or 2 pilot projects from Chinese manufacturers in China, and is still at the pilot stage. We want to push it for the massive adoption. We are expecting the support from halal economy industry stakeholders to push adoption of blockchain. And here that we also explore the other use cases of GitHub blockchain in the Islamic economy, such as financial inclusion. Let me say we can put a blockchain wallet and put a stable coin, and this stable coin can be used for financial inclusion. And actually a few days ago I was back in China to discuss this financial inclusion with one of the Chinese big bankers from Tencent. And we mentioned that there's a huge smartphone penetration for the young people in the Muslim world, and they have a strong affiliation with cryptocurrency and the blockchain use cases. We can introduce a smartphone blockchain wallet to enhance financial inclusion. This is also one of the use cases we can try to make it happen. Apart from that one, in terms of zakat, in terms of Islamic takaf for insurance, we can use a smart contract to make it happen, and also like for asset tokenization for Sukuk. There's a lot of like use cases for in the Islamic economy. What we are trying to say and propose is to push distributed underlying infrastructure that is going to be maintained by everyone from the underlying foundation. And on top of this underlying distributed foundation, we can explore the use cases of Islamic economies from different verticals, which is going to push and come out of a dynamic and healthy ecosystem of Islamic economy based on blockchain. This is the wallet, which is a product that is working right now. Here, I just want 1 minute. I want to give some recommendations. Thank you. That recommendations how to push the ecosystem of Islamic economy of blockchain. For supply chain traceability, we can divide it into 2 stages: proof of authority and proof of work. And apart from that, for the halal industry, especially for the modest fashion and for the cosmetics, we can develop a utility token that is going to incentivize the participation of the consumers, to incentivize the consumers and manufacturers and distributors together through a utility token system. And also we can utilize security token offer and ICO to raise money for fraud reason in terms of fintech. In the Islamic finance perspective, we can focus on the asset tokenization and stablecoin-based blockchain system. So for all these verticals I mentioned, if we push through everybody, and we can develop a very dynamic, healthy and prosperous Islamic ecosystem based on blockchain. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Abdullah, for your important topic on the case of KISME company and certification of blockchain technology in the halal economy. Okay, now I would like to, I would like to invite Dr. Paradon for the last presentation for this section. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I know that there's a 15 minutes between my presentation and lunch. Okay, I make it short and briefly, and I hope you get a point of what we're trying to do to apply the blockchain technology in Thailand Halal certification. It's my outline. So firstly, I would like to talk about why we need blockchain in halal economy. So we're going to talk about the future of halal economy. Then the second is about the how we can adopt how we can make use of the blockchain, which I will talk about the digitalize the Thailand halal certification and how plus data integration. And then lastly, how we can adopt the idea of the blockchain technology into halal certification. So I'm talking about the halal certification by using the blockchain, which will be a practical work that we are doing now. Okay. Before I'm going to the blockchain, I'm going to tell something about what could be the future. It's just my imagination. But I'm quite sure, and by my gut feeling, we're going to face this in the near future about the halal future food. We are talking about now we are talking about the slaughtering cows, chicken, whatever. How about in the future? Not in the future. Now there are many startups in Silicon Valley, in Europe, talking about the cultivate meat that we are growing meat from the lab, and the cows and chicken didn't die. Didn't been slaughtered. Which is we take some cells from animal, from cows, and we cultivate it in the lab, and we're going to use it as a hamburger. Is that allowed? So that is the question, another question for us for the standard. And anyway, as a consumer, how can we know that the burger that we are consuming, the product that we are eating, is it from the real meat or impossible meat, this kind of things. So you can actually you can find this in some airport in Singapore. Even you can find this, or even a chicken. Now this is from I captured from the website of the startups in Silicon Valley. They do sell the barbecue from the chicken, and the chicken is still running there. It didn't die. Okay, that's why we need the data to collect and to make sure and give us trust that what we are consuming. Another way of talking about the blockchain is that we are now less and less going to the supermarket. We are quite boring about that, going to the same route and bringing the same product and pay at the same cashier. But in the future, I'm not going to talk about the future. Now, even in many countries, in United States, now they're talking about voice command, voice shopping. You can tell Alexa, now you can buy it very cheap on Amazon. And you can tell Amazon that, okay, I would like to have a cereal, 2 package extra large, for example, family size, and then the cereal can be delivered to your house by the end of the day. So what about, we are talking about, I would like to get a halal cereal. And then when you talk about halal cereal, how Alexa or even the AI bot know that this cereal is halal or is really halal, and how to make sure that where is the database that they could get Maybe they check from the Halal certification or they check from the Halal verification from Amazon database or maybe the blockchain system. So we're going to have to provide the knowledge for the robot, for the AI, whatever, that this is halal. Then we have to do something and collect the data, and because in the future we might not see the product or the package anymore. And crypto, we talk about the blockchain, the Bitcoin, about the Ethereum, about I don't know whatever. Even now we have many Islamic crypto exchange, stock market, or crypto halal coin, whatever. There's many effort to do this, and how can we make sure that the crypto or the currency that we are using is a Sharia compliance, okay? And peer-to-peer is something that many countries is working on. Even in Thailand, we have government just launching the law of peer-to-peer. We don't have to go to the bank, and we don't have to bother with about the interest rate anymore, because it's going to lending from your neighbor, from your friends, and it's not the interest rate. It's just what you promise to return. You can take 100 baht and you promise your friend that you're going to return 110 baht after 2 weeks because you need that to pay for something. It's peer-to-peer lending, but again, the question is how you can make sure this is the peer-to-peer or the platform that you are using is Sharia compliance, and then probably the blockchain is something that could answer this question. Anyway, I searched from the internet, there's 136 fintech company around the world. I think probably they have more than this, but it is just do it by the Islamic finance landscape. Okay, just to give you some idea. And about in the future, we're going to have a wearable device, wearable fashion. You see Nike doing something great for women fashion. And now we got talk about the smart shirt, smart textiles. And for sure, in the future, your data will be stored in the cloud, in the blockchain. And then what we're going to do about that? And even the halal logistic, and you see the drone bring the product to your house. Okay? Then that is why we need to think about the blockchain and about the trust, about the security and privacy of your data. Blockchain is one of the hot issue that we are talking about this. And the second point of view that I'm talking about, to do this, we have to digitalize. What we are going to do, the halal certification, we all know that we are using the paper to, we go to the factory, we do the document and signature and give them, and then they get the paper certification. And this is the effort that Halal Science Center doing, trying to propose the system protocol for halal electronic resource exchange. I have presented this last year and a year before. So this is just an overview. I might not go into the details, but just to let you know that anyway, before going to the blockchain or even high technology, the first thing is to digitalize and put the data on the system. That's just most important thing. Everything starts with the data. So what we trying to do is we trying to put all the data from the factory, from the Islamic committee that go as CB and AB, and auditor that going to do the check audit in your factory, and the SciCode, which is AB of the halal certification, and even from the lab, from the halal lab, such as Halal Science Center, we have to digitalize this kind of process before we think much further. I'm not going to say that we have success on this, but we are in the process, and we are quite doing well. And that's why we propose a lot of platform that's trying to help the consumer keep track of the halal certification process, payment online, and check of your halal certification platform. Even for the auditor, we provide the tablet application for the instead of bringing the document to the factory. So you probably should take the tablet and do the certification. We have H4E, which is e-number that Dr. Vinay have presented this morning, trying to digitalize everything, even from the database from the Halal Science Center. into the system, and this is just some initiative that if we success on this, we can track the halal certification online. So we have a halal scan. So this is just an effort, and then this is one way to get the data from the internet, from the platform. Another way is trying to get the data from the industry itself. This is another way that we are doing. We're trying to promote the How Plus platform that the main target is the industry. So we give them the news, the knowledge, and facilitate them for the business matching, and they get the benefit. And trying to put more data on the platform, they're going to level up from the member into the bronze to silver and gold. You see at the bottom of the page, if you are the member, you just provide the user data. And if you're going to be the bronze member, so you share with us the user data and company data, and then when you provide more the product data and halal certification, you become a silver. And if you're going to be the gold member, it means the ingredient that you use in each product was on the platform. So this is one way to collect the data, not from the CB itself, but also from the industry that provide us the data. This is the idea that we working on. So as I told you, if along the data input, data integration, when you are the silver level, so it means that you are halal manufacturer. Because you provide us the halal certification number, and you take a photo of your halal certification, these kind of things. At this level, we adopt the idea of the blockchain into the silver level and gold level, but I'm going to explain to you a little bit about the silver level. So this is just a mock-up. It's not a real one that we implement, but it's good to give you some idea of how we implement the blockchain into the halal certification. Okay, so I will go into details. So the process is when you put the data of your halal certification number, your photo of the halal certification, then the system someone will check of your data, and even if it passed, so the data will be approved, and then it will be pushed on the blockchain, so which I will talk about the blockchain later. And another option is you can print out the certification. Instead of as halal certification, you can have a printed version of the blockchain halal certification, as I showed in the previous slide. So what we can do in the halal blockchain? So we use to put the data and store the data, we use the Ethereum. Ethereum is like a European crypto project. So it's open cryptocurrencies. Why we use the Ethereum? Because for example, if I'm going to tell you that I'm going to write down the number of the halal certification that I verify on this blank of paper, then you're going to have a question if this paper is real or not. Then you have to verify, is that the paper that we are talking about? But if I write down the number on my banknote, let's say dollars or euro, I write down the number in the euro banknote. So you don't have, it's very easy for you to verify is that euro or is real or not, right? So you don't have to verify is that paper is real or not, because it's euro. And in euro banknote, you can write down the number because there's some space. The same thing with the Ethereum is allow you to write down some number on the Ethereum. So we use the Ethereum. This is a European cryptocurrency and a stable one for data collection. And then with a small space that we can put in the Ethereum at the block by block, we can put some data that we would like to put. You might not be able to put the photo of your product there, but at least you can put the ID of your company, the profile of your company and some halal certification and some data of like barcode of your product in the Ethereum. It's like you put, somebody can maybe write down something on the banknote. It's the same concept. So we write down on the banknote and we put that on the blockchain. So we don't have to worry about blockchain. Yes, for sure. In the future, we can have our private blockchain or whatever. So this is just starting point. So we adopt the idea of the blockchain of the Ethereum in our project. Then to make a value added of the blockchain, so then you can track the blockchain, and when you scan the QR code, then you give you all information which is collected in the blockchain and then query from the system. So you can even show the photo from the server. And just to give some gimmick, for example, you can even add the 3D model of your product on the QR code, which is you can try out in the exhibition. Last but not least, this is my slide. So just to give you an idea that, okay, by the blockchain, when you put the blockchain, you will get the hash number, which is around 256 key. So you can put a key here, and most of the certification has a problem that you can do the Photoshop, right? And if you want to increase change your expire date, so you can just change from 2020 to 2021. But since we put the verified certificate data on the blockchain, if you scan and this paper certificate and it found that the hash key of the certification that you have in the paper base and the hash key of data in the digital version is not the same. So the certificate that in front of you is not certified. This kind of thing, we're trying to apply the blockchain into the halal certification. So that is briefly idea what we use the blockchain into the halal certification. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Paradon. I did not ring the bell because I would like you to say the last sentence. That was very important, and to get to the whole point. Okay, now we did very well for our session regarding the time, because we are constrained, have time constraint now, and it's not fair when I did not give the opportunity to the floor. Just very short, two questions, right? Okay.
I'm Angsana, a scientist from Halal Science Center, Chulalongkorn University. I have two questions for the speaker. First, can we integrate the blockchain platform from each platform together? And between platform that another country make own their blockchain. And the second is what difference between cryptography and cryptocurrency? Thank you.
So who wants to take the question?
Okay.
Shall I answer one?
Yes, okay.
Thank
please,
you
very brief, please. Yeah.
Okay, so just quickly on the difference between cryptocurrency and cryptography. Cryptography is the mathematical operations that ensure obfuscation of information. To put it in simple words, this is the core mechanism that is used also by all this technology we're talking about. Blockchain is using hashing methods. Hashing is one part of the cryptographic operations. It ensures integrity. That's why blockchain is so strong in terms of determining that something didn't change. The immutability is directly inherited by the integrity controls. So cryptography also has different methods, like I mentioned today, asymmetric encryption, public key infrastructure. So the exchange of public key. In symmetric encryption, you share your private key, which we don't want to do, because then it's basically giving access to all your secrets. So the cryptocurrency is a money that has been generated out of those cryptographic operations. It's not really a money, it's a currency in a sense that it's not a fiat currency. It's not like a fiduciary money that is being issued by a central bank and not printed, not generated, but is generated by those complex cryptographic mechanisms. So, and the underlying technology of cryptocurrencies is blockchain. So it's basically someone initiating a first block, and all the members of the community will operate those cryptographic operations to mine more tokens eventually, and depending on the complexity of the chain, then they will eventually create one day one coin. That's the case for Bitcoin, for example. So, but we're talking about two different things. One is an outcome of the other one.
Dr. Paradon would like to add up something, and Mr. Abdullah. Yeah.
I can give a specific use cases, like Dr. is building his applications on smart contract Ethereum. So, but I'm doing a public blockchain on Gitamir. Can this one work together? I say yes, because firstly, I'm a public blockchain and focus on specific use cases, applications. But we building your applications like smart contract, it has to be affiliated with a specific product or specific use cases. So, but you can build up your applications on our own public blockchain. Public blockchain is like highway, and the use cases on Ethereum is like a specific vehicle. So any vehicle can drive on this highway. That's my answer. Yeah.
My short question is yes, and because we are talking about distributed and sharing the information, like nowadays when you get into the website, you don't know that your just one web page is query data from 10 databases and from 10 different servers. 10 different websites, and it just show you one website. So it's the same thing as a blockchain. As a user, they don't know how the blockchain is interconnected, but in the future, everything should be shared. Will be shared, and the only limitation is what is the policy to share the data. That's it. My quick question, answer.
One more. What interesting about integration
5
of
seconds, please.
Integration of blockchain currently doesn't exist because each blockchain has its own rules and its own mechanism exactly. So. 5 seconds.
Would you like to have something for 5 seconds?
Maybe I have a different answer, but yeah, I think the integration itself today is not a problem. And it's not a real problem, let's say, but in the future we may have this problem. It's a software, like for the supply chain, we are talking about the integration of different software. In the future, when we are implementing complex solutions, then definitely we will have problem of integration. And it's not a real problem of integration, it's a problem of interoperability. It's because now we are using, I don't know how many languages to implement Solidity and this, few languages, so we can solve it. But when we have 100 languages to implement, then we will ask the real. But it's very, very, very good question for the future.
Thank you very much, Prof. I think I did justice for all of you four, right? And to answer. And I will get a last question. This is the last one. Yes. Very short and precise. Yeah, thank you. Please be brief, right? Thank you very much.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm from the Ministry of Trade and Industry in the Philippines. So we are now also working on our halal programs. While we understand that the vital role of the blockchain is very important, one of you mentioned also the problems or the challenges on the halal standardizations, which is also very much challenging for us also in the Philippines. So like, for example, that's a one stumbling block why we cannot yet go with the blockchain agenda. So that's our that's one of our challenges also in the Philippines. So now my question is, how can we proceed with the coming up with the blockchain? For example, given the challenges in the standardization of our halal standards globally, because as you're familiar also, some of the standards in one market or in one country is not recognized in another, for example, another economy. So that's my question. Thank you.
Anybody would like to start? 5 seconds, please.
5 seconds. Okay, just to respond to this question is there's two things. The standardization of the halal standard, or halal whatever, halal verification or whatever, and halal, standardization of halal certification data. Okay, so this is two parts. The standardization of the halal sharing, interoperability of the product, of the system, I think that quite easy for us to respond. But halal certification, standardization is something that is quite challenge for in nowadays. So for the quick answer is yes, it's possible, and not only the standardization of the halal certification, but we have to talk also the standardization of the data that we're going to exchange. So we are talking about the same language. Yeah.
This side, please. 5 seconds.
No, I think I mean, I'm following
Yeah.
this.
Okay, thank you very much indeed for our panels, all of you, which is very interesting. In case that you have a very good question to be asked, please save over lunch. And thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Please give him a big applause.
Thank you for a very interesting presentation. And now is may I invite Associate Professor Dr. Vinay Dahlan to give a token of appreciation to the keynote speaker and the chairperson on the stage. And may I invite all the speakers to please, Associate Professor Dr. Vinay Dahlan, give a token of appreciation to Professor Dr. Kamaruddin Abdul Samad Center for East and Southeast Asian Studies, Lund University, State Sweden, as a session chair for today. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Kamaruddin. And may I invite Professor Dr. Abdulaziz Buros, the College of Engineering, Qatar, for his speech for artificial intelligence and data analytic improvement. Thank you very much. And I invite Dr. Buad Malik from Central Bank of Qatar. His speech on the blockchain technology in the context of production and certification. Thank you, Dr. Buad Malik, for a very special presentation. And may I invite Mr. Abdullah Kwang Yuhan, co-founder and general manager at Algorithmic blockchain technology from United States of Arab Emirates, for the blockchain support and ecosystem of global halal economy topic. And may I invite Dr. Paradon Suripong, Assistant Director of the Halal Science Center, Chulalongkorn University, Thailand, for the topic of blockchain technology enhancing halal production and certification system. Thank you very much for very interesting speech for today. And may I invite all of speakers in front of the stage to take a photo session together. And please everyone, thank you every speakers again for our very precious presentation today. And the blockchain is coming now in this disruptive digital era. So if we know it first, we can follow it first. Thank you very much for attending our event today, and thank you all participants today. But now we have another session. Is please everybody be witness for MOU signing, and wait a minute for the stage. Thank you. This will be the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding for Academic Cooperation and Exchange between the Halal Science Center, Chulalongkorn University, and Scientific Research Institute of Standardizing, Certification, and Technical Regulations, Uzbekistan. Today, the representative of the Scientific Research Institute, Certification and Technical Regulation from Uzbekistan will be signing the MOU with the Halal Science Center, Chulalongkorn University today. Thank you everybody to be witness with this MOU signing for the academic cooperation and exchange between Halal Science Center and Scientific Research Institute. Our Halal Science Center would be appreciated very much for the Scientific Research Institute of Standardizing from Uzbekistan that would like to collaborate about the academic cooperation and exchange with our Halal Science Center, Chulalongkorn University. This is a history day for Thailand and Uzbekistan. We really appreciate for the collaboration about academic cooperation and exchange on on halal science and technology. Please everyone be witness with this MOU signing. Thank you very much. This is the photo session of MOU between Thailand and Uzbekistan. This is a memorable day. And for the Uzbekistan side, from the Scientific Research Institute of Standardizing, Certification, Technical Regulations, he would like to give a souvenir to the Halal Science Center, Chulalongkorn University, for this MOU signing. Everyone be witness with us with the MOU signing, and thank you the scientific research from Uzbekistan for the souvenir and for the MOU collaboration. Thank you all of the distinguished guests and all of the participants for witness with this regard this occasion between Thailand and Uzbekistan, such a memorable day. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you. Nice to meet you. ไม่รู้อ่ะไม่ทำไอเดียAnd at noon, we also have the session. I would like to announce about the noon session will be held on 1:45 p.m. in this room. In the session 3 is the detection approach for halal quality assurance. This is the very interesting topic. I would like to invite all participants to participate in at the noon session in this room. And thank you everyone and have a good day. Thank you. See you 1:45 p.m. Thank you.